Okay, I will show you the end product, whether it works or not. So, stick around. I'm going to have to clean this one up. I'm going to put the other one in. So, hello, howdy, and welcome back to my kitchen. I'm Kathryn, the Aerogarden Homesteader. So, today I am going to be making some fruit peels. I'm going to be using the, sort of the guidelines for that, I don't know if you've seen it, but it's that pectin one. So, it calls for Pamonas, and I don't have Pamonas. I'm actually unable to get it easily in my area without just ordering it online. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to use this ball pectin, which is supposed to be similar to the Pamonas one. And we'll see if it works, because really, in the grand scheme of things, not everyone can get Pamonas. So this is basically a low or no sugar needed pectin, and that is pretty much what Pamonas is. This one does not have the calcium activator that Pamonas does, but I'm wondering if that's actually needed or not. So we'll see. This is all just a big experiment. So I am setting up my trays. I have these Teflon sheets, but they're sheets. They're flat. So flat ain't gonna do it. So I'm making little boats using some clips. If you have binder clips, you can use those as well. Even clothes pegs would work. So I'm trying to not, I don't know if you can see, I'm trying to not clip it right on here to create a seam. I'm just clipping just slightly in, and it'll prevent creasing, but it'll keep it boat-like. So I'm going to go get another tray. Okay, so I'll set up another tray real quick, and then once my trays are done, I will get to the actual recipe part of things. Okay, so it is my understanding that once everything comes together, you need to move fast afterwards. So that's why I wanted to get my trays done. I'm going to get my fruit blitzed. Now, they're a little freezer burnt, but I believe they're peaches. We've had them in the freezer for a little bit. They're from the end of last season. This is one of those things that when you got a little bit too much fruit, just freeze it and deal with it later. So I'm going to blitz this up. I might need to add in a little bit of apple juice to thin it down and make sure it blitzes properly, since I have a crappy blender. And then I will I'll measure out how much puree I produce. Okay, here we go. Took a little bit of apple juice to get it going, but it's ice cream now. Okay, there we go. Batch number 2. Okay, and that is that. Okay, well, we're going for gold on this one. We're just going to use it all, so hopefully it turns out. We are at either 3.5 cups, so we're almost at 8. Some of that is apple juice, but that's okay, because we're going to need a little bit of sugar, I believe. Here, how does this taste? That's not bad. It will need some sugar, though. The apple juice is your sugar. So a lot of people have been using the white grape juice concentrate. I couldn't find that, but we can use apple juice concentrate. It's kind of the same thing. You just want that concentrated fruit sugar. I don't know if you can use real sugar. So one of the videos I watched did say that if you use real sugar, it kind of gives it a gritty texture. So I will stick with the apple juice, and we will go from there and see how it works. But maybe some other time, or if somebody else does it with sugar, you can let us know. But I could see that happening. If you don't dissolve it just right and you got any grains in there, then it'll crystallize. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to measure out 2 cups of apple juice, get my pectin mixed in, but in the meantime I'm going to get this warming up because we need to bring this up to temperature. And I'm going to blend the pectin in with the apple juice. Okay, so in the end, I have used almost half of a 2-quart container. So I need about a quart of juice to do all of this. This is obviously not concentrate, this is what I have, so I don't know how much sweeter this is going to make it, but I don't really have any concentrate, so we're going with what we got. Okay, let's see what our directions say, because this is a different pectin from Pamona's. So for every 2 cups of fruit, so we're just going to assume I have 8, I need, it says a 1/3 cup of fruit juice, which I'm kind of not really following, I guess. Yeah, so I'm kind of short if I follow this exactly. Does call for bottled lemon juice, but use only with blueberries, peaches, and sweet cherries. Oh, well, guess what? I'm using peaches, so I guess I should get some bottled lemon juice. I don't know how important that is. I think it's to prevent browning. How much? Multiply everything by 4. Let's see. It calls for 3 teaspoons. Oh, I should just get a tablespoon. I hate to say it, but is it really that hard to just say 1 tablespoon? Okay, so really what I should do is, since I have the tablespoon out, I need 1 to 1.5 tablespoons of, okay, because I'm not adding any sugar, so I need 1 to 1.5 tablespoons of pectin. Wow, that went from doing nothing to bubbling. Okay, let's get a bowl. That way I can measure out my lemon juice. Okay, let's see. As you can see, I have not used this yet, so we are experimenting. This is my first time doing this, trying this. This is all an experiment. Okay, I have 8 cups of juice. If I divide that by 2, that's 4 times the recipe, so I need 4 tablespoons at least. 1, 2, 3, 4. I put in another little bit just for good measure, so it does say I could add a little bit more. I hope that means I could use 1. Was it 1.5 or? It's weird. They got really bizarre ways of writing things. Maybe I'm supposed to put a half in there as well. Okay, well, put in another half. Guess it's 1.5. I guess we'll see. Then I need 4 tablespoons of lemon juice. Let's get that out of the way. Let's get that closed up, because I am an accident waiting to happen sometimes. 4. Okay, there we go. So there's really nothing interesting going on over here, so I will move you over here. Okay, well, this is still really frozen. Still ice cream consistency. Okay, well, I think I might be at a boil. It's kind of hard to tell, but I don't have any sugar to dissolve, so I don't know. I'm trusting the process here, but I think that's a boil, so I think I'm going to go with it. I don't want to like completely cook the flavor out, so I'm going to blend up my pectin with the apple juice, and then I will be able to put it in here and get it on the sheets. Okay, well, I think it's blended. In we go. Good to the last drop. Get it all. Okay, there you go. There's a trick, is an easy way to clean your blender. You can put some water in it and put it back on the base and blitz everything up, but this apparently needs to be watched, so I'm not going to do that right now. Now it does say, for my instructions for my ball pectin, to stir it until it comes up to a boil to dissolve the sugar, but I don't have sugar, so to warm it back up just to make sure everything is dissolved. I don't know how well the pectin dissolves. And then we will get it in the sheets. So I'll give it a minute. I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing, but it doesn't seem to be thickening. Trust the process. Let's just trust the process on this one. Otherwise I might be making more fruit peels in the near future. Okay, well, if it's a temperature thing, I think we're back up to temperature, even though we haven't fully boiled. We are boiling. If it's a time thing, we've done the time. It's been just over a minute. So let's get these on the sheets. over here I prepared the trays. Let's get this off the heat. Ooh, I don't know if I'm going to be able to pour that. Might need a ladle. Let's see. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Okay, well, don't put too much in your boat. There we go. Okay, well, I'm going to have to, obviously I'm going to have to make some more, because this is not enough. Definitely peach. We are having containment issues. Okay, well, okay, I think I'm contained. I'll get this over to the dehydrator and get it going. So it's like 110 to 120 for about 14 hours. Which is going to end up at some awkward time at midnight, but I guess we're just going to have to go with it. Okay, I will show you the end product, whether it works or not. So, stick around. I'm going to have to clean this one up. I'm going to put the other one in. So, and just in case you don't have any of those fancy schmancy whatever sheets those things are, this is just my 9x13, or actually it's my cookie sheet Silpat. So, you could go for that. You could probably line a baking tray with parchment or something and put that whole thing in your dehydrator. Once you are like partially the way there, you'd have to probably take it out and flip it over and all that. But I'm going to give this a try as well, so we'll see how this goes. Okay, I don't think we're done yet. There does look like there's a little moisture on the top, but I think we are at a point where I could at least flip them, get them off the sheet so they can dry the rest of the way. I did put one on a silicone mat, and that one, it ended up going on a lot thicker, so it might need a little more time. Oh, there we go, look at that, it's coming off nicely. Okay. They are a little crispy around the edges, and it's because when this curled up, it left a really thin layer, so that's to be expected. I'm going to put this in for a little bit longer, and I am going to check the one on the silicone. Yeah, it looks a little wet in the middle still. These have been going for close to the 14 hours, and I did put them on 115, and I think part of the reason why it's taking a little longer is I may have poured them a little thicker. So your mileage may vary depending on how thick you have it, what temperature you have it, factors. So just take that into account when you're making these, but it seems to have worked out. It's pliable, it's not really crispy, so we'll see. I just got that stuff in the middle to deal with. I took the clips off the silicone mat, but I wanted to show you that it is still really wet underneath. I might try to see if I can just flip it and peel it and see if it'll dry a little better that way. So I don't know, again, if that was just really a really thick layer or if the silicone has anything to do with it, but it should hopefully dry out a little faster now that it doesn't have that on it. It's still pliable around the edges, so it's just a matter of getting that center part dry. So this is the last piece of fruit peel. This was the extra thick one. I ended up pulling it off the silicone mat that it was on because this side was just, it was super wet. So if you have a pizza cutter, you can cut with that. Mine kind of wobbles back and forth, so I gotta kind of be careful. You can use your kitchen shears. Slightly don't recommend that. I gummed up my kitchen shears. So the fruit peels did turn out. They turned out quite nicely. They met with the husband's approval because he's the one who normally eats these. I don't know why my kids don't like them. But the one thing to be aware of is it is easy to overdo the edges while trying to get the middle all nice and dry. So what I will do with these is I have some pre-cut strips of parchment that I had done a little while back. So I will just lay these underneath and roll them up and put them in a mason jar for some enjoyment later. So they are really crispy around the edges, but other than that, I feel like they turned out. They actually turned out really nicely. So it does work with the ball pectin, the low to no sugar pectin. So if that's the only thing you can get in your area, then go ahead. There's no good way to keep these from unrolling. They will just do their own thing. Yeah, that didn't work. So, I hope you found this video useful. I have been dying to make these particular pectin fruit peels for a while now, ever since I saw that video. I think I saw it on the Homesteading family first, and then I saw it on, oh, what was her channel? The Wyoming Homestead or something. it was fascinating. But you know what? I feel like there are some things on the internet that it's like, well, can I really trust that? So I felt like this one turned out. My husband was pleased with it. So this is something we will do again. We will add this to our arsenal of fun things to do with extra bits of fruit. So if you have some fruit that's just lying around threatening to go bad on you, this is a great way to use it up. If you've got stuff that's been sitting in your freezer for a little too long because you just didn't get around to using it, this is a great way to use it up. And I will do this again. I don't know when, but it will happen again. So, I hope you found this useful. I hope you give it a try. And I will see you next time on the Aerogarden Homestead.